Hello and welcome. Today's date is the completion of the 24th day of December 2020, which means we are entering into the 25th day, that of Christmas. All bets, trades, and the like, that is within each's own risk and their own rewards. Markets do not close on Christmas Day. And in a free market, why should they? Especially in a global market where people are up at all different times of the day. Let's get on with the analysis. This is going to be very interesting here as this is awesome to me. I'm just a little bit like wowed by the fact that this market has been holding in this like sideways correction over the last week or so. Market corrects either that of price and or time. And oh my goodness, I have to say this is a time correction this far as the 18 average, which is rising, as price action now coming up towards it within this area. Alrighty. So I got to think on a break above this resistance. It's going to have a phenomenal move. And I mentioned, I think this thing go to 25,000. Most certainly has not, at least if it has not yet. Because as it broke out here, got above 20,000, it only got up to 24, like 300. That's several $100s away from that number. And it usually pierces extra key targets, at least on Fibonacci, but yeah, you know what? I got to think if we're going to resist here at 24 good change, that this thing is going to go like well north of this number, like 24.7, 24.8, up to like, or excuse me, 25, no, 26, 27, 28. That's what I'm trying to say. 26 to 28,000. I would think would make a more realistic level for the next leg higher on the event that it breaks it within such. And we can even see within these higher lows in here, especially if we can make another one. Yesterday's or today's the December 24th high coming in at 22,700. If we can stay above 23,000 all day and make a higher low, like really above, and yeah, right around 23 would be so amazing. Just keeping this good setup going. But it's the big resistance, it looks like the day was December 20th was the high, 24,300. So it's got to get above that level there. And if it does, you see it in the 24.3, 24.4 area. Don't be surprised if we see days like we did on the 16th and on the 17th. Looking at such on the shorter term time frame 4-hour chart, I find very interesting here with the level of support at the 24 low change level. Why didn't it support it? Why did it support higher last time? Question mark. We have this and this. Get this in here. I think it is anyway. Let me just put a line on there. Let me just, because that's what I was looking at earlier. I was like, you know what? Should have went down a bit more and it didn't. And I don't know if it means anything or not, but yeah, this is it. Because you can see here, this support, and then we have the two periods here on December 21st, followed by the liftoff one on December 22nd. And then as it comes down here on December 23rd, well, no, like notice them above the line. Really? Okay, cool. Then the three periods in here, just hanging in there within the 18 average of close is not shown. The breakout barely above it on the previous period, and with 1 hour and 50 minutes left halfway through, hanging in there nicely within the 18 average of high. So I think this has got potential moving in the very, very near term. Amongst the 1 hour term, it got above this level of resistance just recently at 1700 hours. But yeah, it's really got to get, it should at least come and test this 24 here. But once it gets above it, I got to think things would be in a very, very phenomenal situation. Let's now cruise over to the altcoins. Move on next to Theta against the US dollars. Again, another day making US all-time highs. And I've been thinking about this. I got to think on this. I'm making a couple predictions on it. Like whatever happens, happens. I don't want to do it on the calculator, but I want the actual tether. $1.18 is the price right now. Near $1.20. Congratulations, Theta. You're doing well. I'm not going to do in this video, but I do want to talk about a lot of the fundamentals on different things in the sense of why I got into it. But it's gotten above this resistance at 78 cents. The last 2 weeks, wow, it's just been phenomenal. 25.5% and 30%. Definitely barely overextended. Why do I say barely? Because it's only period number 2 after it. But, I mean, we have this high here at 58. Nice high here. What's the high supposed to be here? I talk about the three bears. Not too big, not too small. But oftentimes they do become too big, and I hope they do. So with that being said, I think I know, but buck even, $1.05, so it's well above that number now. It's been a phenomenal move. So that's why I have to say yes and no on the overextension. Yeah, because of how much of a leg higher it is. And, of course, because it's only the second period above the 18 average of highs on excitation. With that being said, yeah, it is still well above the 18 average of highs. On the daily term time frame, well, as it goes in here, there's a little bit of correction right here for 3 days, and then nice move. And then this move here, we can just even here, 2 days. The session on the 24th and the 24th did have some intra-move support. So hey, this thing is almost overextended, but it's already had its correction within overextended. Man, it's live to continue going higher, I think, because of it. Doesn't mean it will. And at some point, it's going to have to correct, and we'll be talking about Fibonacci retracements. But at this stage, I'm looking for Fibonacci upside to be the name of the game. And 4-hour term time frame is telling me, watch out, this thing could end up going big. Like soon. We'll see what happens, but just for fun, I'll draw a line there because I know how. And more than that too, but because I know how is the main reason. And then we'll draw some support on here. I mean, it was not that long. I mean, 3 periods down and immediately 100% plus. Actually, it's been like 109% or 104% retracement. It's gotten it all back and a bit more. So we V-shaped this baby already. Okay. And then within the 4-hour term, 1 hour, 47 minutes, just like Bitcoin, having this nice hold in from this move. I really do think that this is in a phenomenal setup. And now we've gotten above this resistance. And how many periods are we at? Well, this is the 3rd period where it's holding and staying above this level in here. So fantastic move. It most certainly could break this support and come down. If it does, that's not going to concern me even on the short run. And it's going to take a lot. It's going to be hard to concern me on the long run, of course. But this thing is in a phenomenal move. Now let's take a look at this against the Bitcoin. And I got to think this is en route to 5,529 Satoshi. Let's see if it does or not, but 5,042 now. I mean, even above it, like 56, even close to like 6,000, like 58, 59. And then what it does there is what it does there. Because this is going to be a, what percentage? This is, I guess from here, this would be, I guess this would be with 61.8%. So it's a pretty decent size one. So 61.8% Fibonacci retracement from this low to this high. And one of those now what situations? You expect to find resistance there? If it does come back, coming back area, heck, even as low as, and I hope it doesn't, but if it does, so be it, 4,000. And a part of me wouldn't mind buyback. So hey, why not? Actually, I'm actually kind of do hope so. Throwing that part aside. If we don't get resistance here, this thing has potential for monstrous moves. And talking about predictions for Theta, as it goes, my long-term predictions, they're not mine. I'm just copying who I originally took this advice from, which is Miss White Dove. Her predictions was $1,000 long term, so I'm just going to copy that. I'm very popular at tailing. I'm going to do a sports video soon. Because, well, this weekend, the 2 leans that I'm looking on for major, oh my goodness, these are like big major top plays, and I don't know yet. They're definitely good plays, but whether they're amazing plays, I don't know. The New England Patriots, I'm going against them. It's a fade on the New England Patriots or that on the Buffalo Bills. They're a favorite of less than 7. I forgot the spread of the Tampa Bay game is them too, but Tampa Bay, against Detroit, but they're decent favorites. But Tampa Bay and Buffalo, those are the 2 teams I'm a huge fan of, but that's for this weekend. I'm going to do a video on that tomorrow, which is Christmas Day. Okay. Maybe tonight even. I don't know yet. But as it goes within this, we come to resist this on the December 22 session. We don't really resist too much, but a couple of days, and now it's breaking out above it. So that tells me a concise move to next key level. And I'm going on predictions for next year. I've already talked about that. And I've already done my predictions. I'm just trying to find a way of how I'm going to explain it. Yeah, the long-term prediction being 1,000. I don't think that 1,000 is going to happen for several years, like 3, 4, 5, 6. So point A to point B to point C, or point middle is where I'm looking at this, because I really do think that this is leg 1 of 2. We're going to have one major leg that's going to be like 8 to 16, 20 months kind of deal. Then there's going to be a correctionary phase, and that's going to be a next wave higher. That'll take us like 4 years from now. So within this one, I'm looking at Theta to be going about $33 to $50 next year after. And that means priced against Bitcoin well into the 5 figures. decently, like well north of 20,000, well north of 30,000. Those are some of the predictions as we go into just like, again, this next key run. Now, very, very, very short-term predictions for Theta. $1.75 I got as a very key Fibonacci level. That's more my next key leg. So I'm just going to go back to the dollar chart again. But $1.75 is a level that I calculated earlier today. So I'm thinking $2 because of that. I think that makes sense. Even 2 to 3 is what I've been like, that's kind of going in my head for this little run. So how would that look on here? And this little range up here. That is Theta, and that will be it for exact price predictions for numbers, because my Ripple predictions are pretty wild, but it's a wild code. So let's take a look at Ripple next against the Bitcoin. And what I'm going to be doing is deleting these old Fibonacci lines and inserting new ones. Now, I haven't calculated them yet, but we'll see what comes up. And these are just wild times. I think Ripple's going to survive this event, and I think this is just awesome buy opportunities now, especially at these prices. Now, another video I want to talk about is psychicness, because I know that's got to do with a lot of the White Dove stuff, and I know some of people on this channel might follow or do follow the JSNIP4 channel. And there's this thing about this 22 cents thing that I've been hearing on the last couple of days, which is, I've been just going over some of the older videos. It's a fantastic, interesting story. And I do want to say that I am psychic, and I used to be psychic. Literally. And how does that make sense? When I say am psychic, I believe everybody is psychic, whether you want to or not, just like you're forced to gamble in the fact that you have no choice, because you don't know what the future holds at so many levels, you have to take chances. But we all got that twine, whether you want to use it or not is up to you, and I don't want to, so which is why I say I'm not. I used to, and maybe at times I will, but I just don't see when and why. But at one point I was very, very spiritual early in my YouTube channel, very much so, 2009, 10, 11, but gotten away from it, and I'm glad I did. But I do realize that it can be very, very interesting information, and that stuff. If you're psychic, you might even know what I'm talking about. You might not, but oh my goodness, your power. It's going to be interesting. The next 3-4 years are going to be just wow. It's going to be interesting times. And moving on. And if you're interested about what I mean by that, let me know, and I can give you a little bit on that. Okay, so right here, things started to break out at this point. We'll get to that in just a little bit, because I want to change these Fibonacci lines. Just break. Interesting how the support worked as it did. What I want to do just for fun is calculate downside if I can. So what I need to have a key low and a key high. So 42.44 and 15.69. Let's just see what happens if I put these numbers in. What was the down target? 824. I mean, these are just like whatever numbers. Because the one I like to do is the 1569, and what's the high on that? 42.64. 846. I would like to usually take one of these other numbers, but anyway, that's yeah. What I want to do is this low to this high. So the low on here is 943. So let's do 42.64 divided by 943. To the root of 0.236, and then the other three numbers multiply the low of 943. So 1346 would be the first number. And then the one after that would be the 23.6, 1678, which would be our next price target. It looks like that's where we're heading towards. It's already surpassed this next one. Yeah, we haven't got up to this one yet. And then after 1678 comes 2396. And then if they keep on hitting in the future, I'm going to say it now, it's only luck that they keep on reacting so well. Also, oftentimes these Fibonacci points can end up coming towards key levels, and Well, that's a key level there. 2987 is the final one. Alrighty then. So let's take a look at the short term, see how well the first level reacted. You know what? That's interesting because that was almost like a Fibonacci fail to a degree. I mean, the playing of it is actually succeeding really well in what it needs to do. But it would have been very frustrating trading this and trying to trade amongst the Fibonacci because it didn't hit it or pierce extra. This is a rare situation, actually. And I kind of like to see that it doesn't always work so perfectly. But why at the 20-hour and 45-minute stamp did the price action get up to 1,315, which is like 30 basis points, 31 basis points below Fib? Okay. But what it did do at this level is it did congest within it and then break higher. So now as far as Fibonacci numbers are concerned, I'm expecting, I'll keep this in for now, but it didn't do to normal action within the 23.6. But when good news comes out, these things are just going to fly sky high like it is no tomorrow at a very wild, aggressive level. I am fully confident that Ripple is going to be doing well in the future. What happened with me a couple of days, on December the 20th, or whenever the first happened, it came down, the markets were, let me go to the daily chart. When it went down the first day, this day here, 17%, I'm like, oh, Ripple's not doing so well. It's a little much of an extra loser, but that happens. And, I was like, even before, I was kind of expecting because of the days before I was showing the weakness amongst this area in here. I wasn't surprised. It was a good short setup is another way of putting it. I'm like, okay, whatever. I didn't really put too much thought really into it. But then I seen the next day, okay, oh shit, it's down a lot. I then did some searching, find out that they plan on I guess working. Like, I don't know if it's countersuing or just they're defending themselves against the SEC. That's basically what they said. Ripple, we're defending ourselves against them. And I think it's going to work out for them. I really do. So even a part of me wonders if it's almost like they're doing this by design. They as in the big game traders. FUD is another form of FUD, is in trying to, a lot of it is manipulate the price down to make it go way down, way up kind of deal. Buy low, sell high. I mean, if it is, it is. Or if it isn't, it isn't, of course. But I do believe there's a good chance that's the case. And it's like almost by design that Ripple wants it to be this way and have these kind of moves. If it is, I kind of don't mind it because my trading mechanism profits within that kind of movement. Next up will be LITECOIN, which is, against Bitcoin, I just like how these movements have been so volatile. Just a lot of these up and down moves, which is good for the buying and selling aspect of things because it creates lots of opportunities to get into just make a lot of big trades, going from the 396 handle up to 500. I mean, it's only 20%, but still opportunities nonetheless. And Litecoin overall, the Bitcoin Cashes, they're going to have the lower volatility where the coins like the Ripples, well, even Ripple's just a wild coin as it is. And Litecoin's going to, and these other ones are going to have big moves as well. But Tezos is the one I'm going to go on next, like the Theta. I think it's an interesting pairing putting those together. So I'll show the pairing first. And this is, again, Theta versus Tezos, as we can see on the crossing here. Right now the price is 172. It was up to 28. Now it's at 172. Yeah. Volatility extreme. That's what I love about ratio trading, playing these coins together. So you have this market, goes from 10, falls a little bit to 9, up to like 20, 19-ish or so, down to 12, up to those big levels. Even all the 3 times it got up to like close to 28. And then that was when Tezos was kicking ass. Well, Tezos hasn't kicked ass as much lately, where of course Theta has, and we can see the differential here. This has went from 28 to 1.72. Don't be surprised. There's going to be this up and down movement. And these things are supposed to, by design, really just have a lot of just choppy, big, volatile actions. stuff where it should be just going. I'm not going to literally just back and forth in a large sideways choppy mode of some sort. But if you can buy on the low end, sell on the high end, it's not hard to do. You can increase your holdings of them at precipitously large rates. And I almost have to adjust these Fibonacci lines on here as the price action reached all-time lows. And you got to be fast in these markets. And I wish I would have been looking more closely when the things were so wild yesterday, because I probably would have been able to pick up some few trades that I wasn't able to do so. But I mean, before all this was going on, this was just in a nice little sideways consolidation. But then when it broke the support level, I mean, these Fibonacci support levels just not working well anyway. But once it broke the support near 2,400, it has discontinued its free fall of lower lows and lower highs. But what I'm referring to yesterday was this hour at 1,700 hours, which I was up for. I'm always up at that time. I was around the computer, and I wish I would have seen it, but how much time do you? I mean, this is just crazy. There had to have been some sort of deal where, I mean, in 5-minute time frame, this period it's down 0.7%. Okay, that would be a normal 5-minute session. And then it's down 1.78 for the next 5 minutes. Then it's down 3.5, and then it's down 11 2/3. And and a quick recovery at that, but how much time did you have to get at those damn cheap prices? And not much time. I mean, it's still cheap now, so you do have lots of time when you look at the long-term perspective. But as you can see, as it was going down below 751, it did so at 1723, but at 1731, it was well above it. So you had 8 minutes to buy it below those prices. But I would have had enough time to send Theta over, sell it, and buy it. I wouldn't have had enough time to send Bitcoin Cash, or maybe I could have sent Ripple over, but Ripple was getting its ass kicked at that time too. Ripple's a fast sending coin. That's what I love about Ripple. And Theta as well too. But I mean, Ripple and Theta, you send them to an exchange and it's like literally instant. I can go to my hardware wallet, send my Ripple, push my confirm, put my password in, all that type of stuff. Once the last button is pushed for everything that's necessary, I can trade that Ripple on the market in like 40 seconds or 30 seconds. It is literally that damn fast. It's so cool. Theta, a couple minutes after sending it. Bitcoin Cash, I mean, I'm not doing Binance anymore. I still get a hold of them. This has been sick. I've chatted with Binance twice on the chat program. They have emailed me back 0 times, and both times I chatted with them, they said they would be emailing me. So I'm going to be logging on there the next few days, and I don't know what. I just got to think of what I'm going to say. I'm probably just going to, I don't know, what do I do if you don't email me back? Why do I have a risk control? Why am I a risk control session? When is it going to be taken off? And I did watch Samantha Jane, who was the reason for the Tezos, because this was her coin. After all, I tail people, and she's a psychic. But you know what? I do love trying to read people, and I did in the poker days, and it's really important because you don't want to get bluffed out in poker. So I hate being bluffed. I mean, I know everyone does, but it's a big thing for me in poker. So I was really adamant in making sure. I mean, I was damn sure that I wanted to pick off as many bluffs, make as many beautiful hero calls as I can. And then get to the stage of making as many hero folds as I can, which meant, okay, if I see your bluff, and I'm going to just call your bluff off, if I can, like it's no tomorrow. And in this case, in the read of Samantha Jane, I believe her name is, yeah. She's got her YouTube channel. I read her for genuinity, and I still do today. And this is, of course, one of her favorite coins. Let's look at Teslas against the U.S. fiat. I haven't looked at... That's on Coinbase. That's awesome. It's a big coin, though. I've got lines on it, so I should have known. I just forgot. $2 coin. See, yeah, this is when it got up really big, so it's going to... really choppy more than anything. Really hard to get just a major choppy chart. But I think there'd be a time you can see where, well, how fast did this go up on the daily time frame before? It was like the end of January last year. This thing was like $1.50, and then on February 11th, like 2 weeks later, it was like 3 2/3. So it doesn't take long for these things to have fantastic moves when they are en route to, of course, take place. But you can see whenever you can just, like for me, I was fortunate enough to be able to liquidate a lot of these coins during these up runs. So the amount of Teslas that I own now compared to before, it's fantastic. In fact, I've been waiting, thinking for months, weeks. That's why I say I would have done it probably yesterday. And of course, with Bitcoin, I wouldn't have had enough time. But I was been thinking for weeks, do I take a bit of Bitcoin? Do I sell it for Teslas just to add more via that measure? And I want to wait for Bitcoin to be worth so much. And it's worth 24,000 for, I'm not going to say try to pick a bottom, but try to be picky at the best possible price. I haven't done it yet, but I've been getting a lot of trades, and I do have a very good holding on the Tezos front. Tezos is I don't know, it looks to me like it's got a lot of amazing potential moving forward. Hopefully this is a good failed breakdown, though. If it is, that would be very interesting, especially if you see Tezos get above 2 1/3. What's this, the daily time frame? In the next 3, 4, 5, 6 days, that would be just fantastic. Yeah, what else? Yeah. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.